there are incredible ways for us to target people that are specifically interested in your home rather than just being like almost victim to a completely reactive marketing plan. Welcome back, folks, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I'm, of course, your host, Brian Beatty. We're talking about real estate marketing. We're talking about AI. We're talking about, are they listening to our conversations? Big Brother, Minority Report, however you want to label it. The reality is, over the past several years, companies' ability to market to us based on all different kinds of information they're collecting, whether you know it or not, is not just here, it's been here. And so I want to talk about really what the advancement of the modern day real estate agent's marketing plan should look like versus what it actually does look like in many instances. And so we were talking about how, look, everybody's going to go online to look for properties. I'm not saying that print media is quote unquote dead or print marketing is quote unquote dead, but let me tell you something. It's expensive. It's not nearly as targeted as online advertising. And most people, let's be honest, aren't finding the property that they ultimately buy through print. What print really accomplishes is branding for the agent. It's really more for them than, frankly, it is for you, the seller of the house, because you're not targeting that toward a specific group of people based on demographics, geographics, and online behavior. I know this. I marketed myself on the inside front cover of Homes and Land magazine for 7 years, didn't sell a single home from it, from a property that was marketed in that magazine. I sold several homes from it, but because they saw the ad on the inside front cover of the magazine in connection with everything else that we do from a marketing perspective, and they said, all right, well, this person looks like they know what they're talking about. Let's work with them. But for the purpose of marketing somebody's home, never generated a sale from it. So let's just talk for a quick second about, and by the way, I'm sure that a lot of you have very pointed opinions on things like AI and companies' ability to track what you do, where you do it, how you do it, and then use that information to then market products to you that you didn't ask for them to do. I get it. The purpose of this discussion is to talk about utilizing this information in such a way that helps you sell your home for the most money possible and to choose the agent that's going to give you the best shot at creating that scenario. Okay. So first of all, 85% of Americans are using the internet every day. I was just having a conversation with John Quincy. I was giving him some of these stats, which shocked even him. The average amount of time people spend online every day is 7 hours, 6 hours and 58 minutes to be exact. Social media accounts for 2 hours and 27 minutes of screen time a day. The average American spends 2 hours and 37 minutes streaming video every day. Only 7% of Americans still don't use the internet. Americans use 5 social media services on average. TikTok and YouTube are the most popular social media apps in America, with users spending an average of 45 minutes per day on each one. Just all kinds of incredible statistics with regard to the amount of time people are spending online. Now, going back to the kind of the comment earlier about, Big Brother and AI and, are they always watching, listening to everything that we're doing, regardless of whether we're on our phone or not? Well, let me give you an example. And I'm sure everyone listening probably has some version of a story like this, but I am a born and raised through and through Redskins fan. Okay. I know they're called the Commanders now, and I'm not trying to offend anybody by calling them the Redskins still, but to me, they're always going to be the Redskins, okay? Diehard fan. And it's been hard. It's been really hard for a very, very, very long time. But I've got another buddy of mine, my best friend, who is a Miami Dolphins fan. And so he watches the game with me. I watch the game with him. I've really kind of grown to like the Miami Dolphins. And so it was kind of funny. Last week, we kind of made it official that the Miami Dolphins are my backup NFL team that I root for. Now, this weekend, guess what's happening? The Redskins are playing the Dolphins, and I'm going to be wearing my Redskins jersey. But the point in telling you all of this is that as we're having these conversations about Miami and the Redskins or the Commanders, and I told my buddy that I was like, all right, look, I'm in. Like, it's official. My backup team is Miami, right? Of course, the next day, scrolling through Facebook, what do I get? I get a Miami Dolphins like credit card holder ad as I'm scrolling. There is absolutely no way that they would have known to promote that product to me had I not been talking about it, because I have definitely not searched for any Miami Dolphins related apparel, paraphernalia, whatever. Like, never once have I searched for the Miami Dolphins stuff in any way, shape, or form online. But I think because of the conversation, they then started promoting those products. It's an example of how detailed they can get in the data that they accumulate on us. Now, every mobile device has something called a MAID number, which is a mobile advertising ID number. Essentially, it's like a fingerprint for your device. The IDFA is like the Apple's version of the MAID number, but there are several privacy policies that have been put in place to prevent advertisers from, targeting you specifically or accessing and sharing your information. There's this big movement now for opting in, right? And if you remember, Mark Zuckerberg getting hounded, a little while ago for the ways in which he and his company were sharing our personal information, you now have to opt in. So like anytime you go to one of these websites, it says, hey, accept all cookies. Or anytime you download an app, it says, do you want the app to track or not track what you're doing? You've got to opt in for that information. A lot of these social media accounts, you're already opted in. You actually do have the ability to toggle some of that or all that stuff, but most people don't. And so the reality is, for every single one of us, there is some sort of digital blueprint out there, or fingerprint rather, which is a combination of all different kinds of information. How old we are, where we live, what our interests are, what our online behavior is. All of that information gets collected and then frankly sold or purchased by companies that then want to market applicable products to us, right? And it's so for those that are, listening, that own their own businesses or that have the ability to market your business in some way, shape, or form, whether you own it or not, this is where we need to be, because the information is there and allows us to hyper focus and target people with the right information, the right message at the right time. Because rather than relying on the consumer going to something like Zillow or Realtor.com and then finding the property and then somehow, some way getting connected to some agent to then come and view your home, we want to go straight to them. The whole point is to be proactive, to be specific, to be targeted. Okay? Most agents don't have the budget, they don't have the understanding, or they don't feel the need to up their game, to start something new. And I get it. There's a whole love-hate relationship with things like social media. I certainly have a love-hate relationship with social media because I'm a private person. I don't need to show off my house or my car or paint this picture that life is perfect, because it's not. And I'm not going to get on that soapbox because it's not necessarily applicable for this conversation. But the point is, there are incredible ways for us to target people that are specifically interested in your home, rather than just being almost victim to a completely reactive marketing plan, which is what the vast, vast, vast majority of real estate agents are doing from a marketing perspective, right? They plug in the data, it gets syndicated to websites, showing requests then get generated through other agents. Sometimes people call their, for sale sign, or maybe they host an open house and someone's driving around and like, yeah, we're kind of interested. We're maybe thinking about buying a home in the next year or so. It's like, again, that's great for the real estate agent. Doesn't really help you sell your house. So we're going to keep talking about this. I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about how, incredible AI is and how you can embrace this, not just if you're listening in a real estate agent, but there are, it's so applicable to so many different kinds of industries. but I want to tell you how we're using it and the results that it's creating. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. And if you want to reach out to me, 843-800-0065. That's my cell. Call or text 800-0065. Listings in Charleston's the website. Brian at Brian Beatty Team is the email address. All right, stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com.